Sure, right on time. It says 3:35. I don't even know do I still have the bucket hat? Anyway?
Yes, you do.
Why?
Gabriel's used them for scouts, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. This is close enough. It's plenty ugly.
It's special.
It's got the V's on it.
It's special. He looks special.
This is the order in which
and it's
most
June,
likely.
You're all ready for your grad.
Yeah, I've got the grad gown already, and we're all set. So
is that his wife? Yes, I am his wife.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm his wife.
She is my current wife.
Shut it.
Cheers.
When in public, I get, hey, are you the hockey guy's wife? Yes.
You got to stop pepper spraying people when they ask you that.
Shannon. Okay. And the chat's going to go super duper fast. So be nice. No being stupid.
Welcome back. Hey, you're not bad.
Hello, people. What?
You're not bad. So comment in there.
Pardon?
You're not bad. Good job.
You don't even know me.
Good
it
job.
Shows what they know.
I did good. Nice.
Ew. Yuck. Not a conquest.
Well.
Ew.
I mean.
Don't start that. There's way too many people that are not used to our banter that might think you actually talk like that.
So I got the TV on behind the board and it's muted. So I just peek around it and it's still Tim McAuliffe and Ken Reed and Elliot Friedman saying they don't dye their hair. Sure they don't. They're my age and they got dark hair. Sure they don't dye.
Yvonne must be happy the Jets are winning the cup. Shh, don't say that out loud.
It's a jinx.
I'll jinx it. I know,
but I just
right?
got a Carey Price jersey today, so
I'm hoping that was to jinx it because Shannon has the
it's because it was on sale. It was on sale.
Hockey power.
And I needed one of those.
So if you bought a Price jersey.
Because you're always telling me I need them. So.
How's the bunny?
There's two bunnies.
We have two bunnies.
And
they're adorable.
Our bunny Raspberry, she passed on about a month ago now.
That was
3 weeks ago.
It was terrible.
And so we got two bunnies to replace her.
If you're ever on the cat's Instagram, there are lots of pictures because they are stinking cute. They're so cute and they're so tiny and they're adorable. Where do you watch this in the US?
NHL Network. I think it's on the NHL Network. Gun to your head, name the top three. If we go with Maximum Chaos, now remember, there's only 2 picks that are in this draft lottery. There's not 3. So if we're going for Maximum Chaos, it would be the Rangers #1 and Chicago #2. That would cause a maximum amount of chaos. Now, if Pittsburgh ends up winning it, that's where we can then get into discussions of how did that happen because they're not eligible. So if they win it, there'll be some questions to answer.
Ugly jersey, dude.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
That's the point. I've worn this every time the Canucks have been in the draft lottery since 2016. And so maybe it's me. I guess we can officially say it's me if they don't win this time.
Because Shannon has the hockey power.
Yeah, I really don't.
Devin Taves is from Abby. No.
Well, so you can cheer for Colorado too then.
Any way to get dryer wrinkles out of a jersey bought for cheap?
Nice.
I would wash it and hang it to dry. Or you can hang it up. Don't be a weirdo. So the steam will help relax that. Unless you have an iron that has the steam function. Steam works really well for getting wrinkles out. Okay.
Steam it up, huh?
Contribution to the Yvonne Needs a Raise Fund. Thanks, Dave. I didn't even see who it was. So, it's really hot. Where's my tea? Don't you worry. I've got my tea.
It's it's like 30 degrees Celsius out today.
It's really hot. Yeah, it's like 28.
Is it 28? It feels hotter though. Because the humidity makes it feel warmer than that. So
it's just hot. It's really hot. It's super hot outside. Shannon always wears a jersey, even when it's stupid hot.
Yeah.
So
although I try to get my videos done earlier during the summer because I need to get them done before 11 a.m. during the summer. I realized that today when I was doing that Capitals video. I was like, man, it's getting too hot for Jersey late in the morning.
30 plus in Calgary. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Calgary gets really hot though and dry.
They do. They do.
Where are
Nothing
we
compared to Vegas. But.
We live outside of Vancouver, BC. Please get a bunny and a kitty in the room. We've got bears right there.
Shadow's right there. That lump right there is Shadow. Yeah.
The bunnies are outside. We have a play yard for them. And
we have 4 different spots for them now.
Yeah, they're in their play yard in a spot that I don't mow. That's nice and shady. They're kind of spoiled. Hi, you two. Glad you both are doing well. Do you think Vegas should ride Fleury the rest of the playoffs? The team got massacred with Leonard. It was only 1 game. Where to go? But I'm a bit nervous.
I think they will go with Fleury from here. He just needed a rest. It was so many games in so short a period of time, and goalies get banged up too. I mean, Boston's doing it tomorrow night with putting Swayman in as well. It's just the schedule's been so compacted that you have to give your goalies a rest. And that loss was not on Leonard. That was just Vegas defense. Like I don't think we can stop these guys. Could you try? No, it's really hard.
35 in Kelowna. Isn't it supposed to get to 40 this week in Kelowna? Kelowna's a lot hotter than
Kelowna's hotter.
It gets so much hotter. It's only 3 hours away, but it gets so much hotter.
Yeah, I don't.
Somebody's number 1 on the THG bracket. I'm not. Mine's awful.
I know I'm not there.
Mine has not done that great.
I know my bracket's not up there.
It's not as bad as my bracket was 2 years ago, though. So
nobody's bracket is as bad as any of their brackets were 2 years ago. Right. 2 years ago, they were so broken that even the NHL was like, okay, do-overs, everybody. Okay.
Gold star for everybody.
Thanks, Columbus. Thanks a lot. And San Jose. Okay. Now everybody needs to redo them.
What did you think of Justin Hall this year? Hall. Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. What's his future on the Leafs look like? Hello from Halifax.
Hall's gonna stay in the top 6. I would think. I can't see Hall coming out of the top 6. He may end up being in the top 4, but they really got to fix that blue line. They've got to figure out what they're going to do. But as they've been saying on Sportsnet today, it's that killer instinct they haven't had. I don't know how you fix that.
Where did you get that Price jersey from?
Adidas. I got it through the Adidas site in Canada. Love from Finland.
Go Stars.
Yeah. It would be great fun if the Stars won. I mean, ideally, Vancouver and Dallas would win the draft lottery, and I do a little happy dance. That'd be great. I've always said I'd do a happy dance if the Canucks have won. I've never had to make good on that.
Frustrating series. Canes are right on Tampa level.
Yes. But Vasilevsky has been absolutely fantastic. So.
Most epic draft lottery ever. Hold on. It skipped away. Oh, I have to find it.
What did you
do?
It.
It's getting to where there's a lot of chat, so it just jumps. Buffalo and Vancouver. The Wheel of Fortune with number 11. Gilbert Perreault. And oh, yeah. And yay, summer's here.
Yeah, I'm glad summer's here. I'll be even gladder, if that's gladder's a word. I'll be even gladder when we can go places.
Yeah.
Which is soon.
Yes.
Meetups next month.
Shannon, who should the Canucks draft if they go as high as 7th or low as 11th?
This year's draft class is so wide open. I honestly think if the Canucks can pick up another defenseman, pick the best defenseman available with whatever position they're at, I'm not happy with their overall depth on the blue line. Their forward depth is pretty good. They've got some good young forwards. They really need a defenseman. Pick the best defenseman available.
I thought you were talking Fahrenheit, and then I realized that 30 to 40 in Celsius is blazing, and this whole temperature conversation made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
30 in Fahrenheit's kind of cold. In Fahrenheit or in Celsius is really hot for us.
Yeah.
Gritty needs to tell the NHL that Philly is getting number 1 or else.
I didn't see. I should have looked at his Twitter today to see what he put up there. I'm sure he put something up there. What are you doing, sweetie?
Is the board your prediction?
No, this is the order in which they're most likely to get drawn. So Buffalo is the best chance of getting the number 1 pick. The Rangers have the least chance of getting number 1 pick. And there's a little sad face next to Arizona because technically they can't get the number 1 or the number 2 pick. They're just there to get browbeaten, I guess. You think so? Right.
I'm a newer viewer and just wanted to say that I love your channel. Keep up the great work, THG. I'm also a Blue Jackets fan, so I'm hoping we get a good draw tonight.
Columbus could absolutely use that number 1 pick. They really could.
Has the ghost of Harold Ballard cursed the Leafs?
No, this era feels different than previous eras. It's just they've got a good, strong team that doesn't have that ability to get over the hump in the playoffs. And it is so hard to figure out exactly where a team is missing. Tampa Bay figured it out last year. Maybe Toronto figures it out this year, but they have to because the clock is ticking on Marner and Matthews' contracts.
How would you feel if the Sens and the Canucks won the draft lottery?
I'd be quite happy if the Canucks
Shannon
won the
would be
draft
quite
lottery.
thrilled, yeah.
That would really surprise me.
Will Romanov see ice time for the Canadiens in round 2?
At some point he will, because there's going to be injuries. There's always injuries in the playoffs, so Romanov's going to play.
Got a Ducks reverse retro today. Came with free stickers.
The Ducks reverse retro is so nice. Yvonne's been bugging me for one.
I have not.
I have told her. I've said if you really want one.
Too bad for you, because getting a Ducks reverse retro. Good luck.
It's
that's
gorgeous.
That's why. Are you guys vaccinated yet?
Half.
We got our first one
in April.
4 weeks, 4 weeks, 5. It's been quite a few weeks.
It was in April. Was it near the end of April?
That's right. I think. Yeah. I don't know. Yes, we have our first.
So we're waiting on our second dose still.
Who does Iserman something? It ran away. Oh goodness. We're getting to where there's a lot of chats, and so it just drops. Oh my gosh.
Where did you go?
Okay. Oh, there we go. Does Iserman take? Who does Iserman take or trade for?
The Wings are in a position to get best player available. I'd be interested to see if they can get Beniers. I think Beniers could end up being a steal in this draft if he doesn't go in the top 3 or 4. So with where Detroit right now, they'd be picking 6th. They'll probably end up picking like 7th. They'll probably be a team that jumps. If Beniers falls that far, but Luke Hughes, it'd be a nice way to make up for missing out on Quinn too if he falls that far.
Bigger playoff chokers, Cowboys or Leafs?
Leafs. I can still remember when the Cowboys were a pretty dominant franchise in football.
Should the Canucks try to trade out some of the contracts or just ride it out?
I would rather that they find a way to both ride it out and do buyouts here and there, because they're going to be expending their future to try to get rid of those contracts, and that's dangerous.
If Arizona gets number 1, I've heard it's a redraw. So if Buffalo gets 2 and Arizona gets 1, and there's a redraw, could Buffalo drop in a redraw? Buffalo or whomever could drop from 2 to how far down?
So they're doing two different draws. So if Arizona wins number 1, they redraw number 1, and then they would draw number 2. And again, if Arizona wins number 2, then they do a redraw again for number 2. So there's 2 different draws that are going to be seen as valid. If Arizona wins one, it's going to be, okay, that was a test, and then they move on to the next one. But, so Arizona can't win it, and so the farthest down Buffalo can go is 3. My guess is they should get one of the top. I'd like to see them get one of the top 2.
As a Detroit fan, how upset am I likely to be after this draft lottery compared to last year? Shouldn't
be that bad, because this year's draft is seen as more of a crapshoot than other ones.
Where is the drop off? Darn it, in the numbers for the draft.
It sounds like the top 5 or the top 10 is going to be really, really good. After that, again, it's going to depend on the team. There will be teams that have guys in the first round that other teams may not have until the 3rd round. There isn't as much information on the draft picks.
Will the Leafs panic and swap out a lot of pieces, or will they give the team another shot similar to what Tampa did after 2019? As on paper, they should be good.
From what I heard today from Brendan Shanahan, the plan is to make small changes and try to fix this from within. So I don't think there's going to be a bunch of panic selling going on with the Leafs.
Would it be better for the Canucks to lose the lottery because there was less scouting this year?
I don't think it makes a huge difference, but I mean, if they got number 1 and they drafted Owen Power, reading Owen Power's scouting reports, he's going to be a really good defenseman in the NHL, and that would be a fantastic addition for the Canucks.
Hello, Shannon and Yvonne. Do you see the Canes beating the Lightning? Hope the Jackets get number 1. Hardest working YouTuber I watch. Thank you for everything.
I can't see the Canes coming back and winning 4 out of 5 against the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I also don't think it'll end up being a sweep. I think it might end up being 6, maybe. But I just think Tampa Bay right now is just too strong. They're too strong. They're too confident. They're too composed.
Managed to find the Wild Wing Reverse Retro, size 46 at Metrotown, and bought it because I was like finding a unicorn. Need to put the name Selene back on the back. Yes. That would be crazy to see that in Metrotown.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. Discovered you during quarantine last year, and I thank you for keeping me informed. You're also one of few channels that has been able to keep me stress-free over the past year.
Good. That's good news.
It is nice.
What do you...
It's nice, Shannon. Oh, it's going to skip again. Will the Ducks ever? I don't know.
Fire Murray.
Okay. Oh, darn it. We're really behind here. And
there it is.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Was that
right
it?
There.
Oh, Everfire Murray. Seems like he'll be there forever with our owner.
He's got at least another year. And until ownership decides the rebuild's taking too long, he's probably there for that long.
What time are they doing this?
4:00.
Okay. Doesn't the game start at 4?
Game starts at 4:30.
Oh, okay. Should the Sens draft a winger or a defenseman?
Winger. Yeah, they've got a lot of good defensemen.
What do the Pens do? 0.893 percentage in SCP since 2017 Cup.
Well, I think there's going to be a revamp in the net. I don't think Jari leaves, but I do think they find somebody else to be the battery mate for Jari. There's going to be a lot of goaltenders available this offseason. That's the good news.
If all the defensemen are gone, who should the Kings take?
I mentioned Beniers. Beniers is the forward I'm going to keep an eye on. Brent Clark. Just grab this. Brent Clark, I think, is the other one that's in the top 10. And people will ask about Ratu as well, but Ratu really fell off this year. He absolutely fell way off. There's Eklund, too. Eklund's ranked at number 4 on here. I've seen Eklund ranked as high as 2nd or 3rd. There's Dylan Gunther. Yeah, Beniers they've got at 5th in here. This is the most recent hockey news. And Jesper Wallsted's in there too. So there's a good goaltender who's going to go at least top 15.
And then somebody asked who Vancouver would take if they got number 1.
Oh, Owen Power. Yeah, you take Owen Power at number 1. I don't think anybody else goes number 1 unless maybe in Eklund or somebody wants a forward more, but I think it'll be Power.
Oh, goodness. Sorry, it's skipping.
It's okay. It's okay.
For those of you new to the live streams, when we get a lot of people. Oh, there we go. Who should the Oilers go after in the offseason? The chat function is really glitchy when it gets to a lot of people.
The Oilers need a lot of depth. They need to fix their depth. It shouldn't be that if you can shut down their top line, they're done. And that's the problem. And so they can't overpay Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I kind of agree with them playing some hardball with Nugent-Hopkins because if they overpay Nugent-Hopkins, that's a huge mistake.
Are the Avs and Lightning on a collision course?
Could be, but I mean, it depends on how the rankings coming out of this go because it's 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. So it depends on the records for the other teams coming out.
How does Shannon think we should do the draft? Is lottery a good idea or should it go back to worst for first?
No, I like the lottery better because it prevents tanking.
Would love to see you do a guest appearance on the Steve Dangle podcast at some point in the off season.
I'm open to that. We haven't really ironed anything out, but I'm open to it.
If Tristan Yari were on fire, what? No, okay, that's silly. There's water, guys. Come on, don't be dumb. Anyways, have a rare NHL jersey you need for your collection. Are you still not able to travel to your the border's
We don't
closed.
have a PO box anymore.
Yes, we do.
Not in the States.
Yes, we do.
It's not listed as a PO box.
It's not in a post office. We have a mailbox in the States. Don't listen to Shannon. We can't cross the border. The border is closed. Yes, the border is closed. We cannot cross the border. The border's closed. We do have a mailbox. That's why the address is in the description. But we can't go to the States because the border's closed.
That's like Suite 119 and all that other stuff.
It's still a mailbox, just not in a post office. Because the American post office is silly. People have heard my rants on the American postal system before. Yeah. Okay, anyways. Because of prospects not paying for a year, do we see more draft picks this year? Spend more time in the minors?
Yeah, there'll be more instances of guys being sent back to juniors for more work on their game. It's probably going to be tougher for these guys to be NHL ready. If they haven't had enough games, they haven't taken that next step in their development.
Is there still any shot for my Canes in the series?
There's always a chance, but against the defending Stanley Cup champions down 2-0, it's not a great chance.
What's the slaughtery thing all about? Signed a Lightning fan, sarcastically. Stop sending super chats so you wanted Shannon to catch up. Seeing it jumped again.
See,
you need to kind of be watching
what
when
did you
it
do?
starts. I didn't do it yet. It's still.
Oh, the NBA playoffs. Are you watching the NBA playoffs?
Definitely not.
You said the Clippers would never win. It's a 2-2 series tie now.
Yeah.
You were wrong.
Hey.
Why were you wrong?
Why are you wrong? Hey.
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 Don't do that.
Hey.
Hey. Listen, the judge talked to you about that.
Shh, don't start that crap. Oh,
the judge. And that's what the judge was talking to you about.
Don't start that. Okay. Which 8 teams do you think make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference next year? I think a few great teams will miss.
Next year, we have to go through expansion. We have to go through the draft. We have to go through free agency. We're going to see a lot of guys get potentially bought out and moved. I have no idea what the top 8 for next year is going to look like. No idea.
Is Power NHL ready?
No, I think he's college for a while. But yeah, Power. I mean, come on, the name Power, he's going to be great.
That is Power. Fun.
It's just not Max. Sadly, his name's not Max.
Could be his nickname. I heard you guys go to Vegas a lot. What's your hotel of choice? I love the Mandalay Bay and the Mirage. We've actually done videos on going to
We love
Vegas.
the Aria.
Yeah, love Aria.
Our next trip is going to be the Vidara because the Aria was just ridiculously expensive for the time that we're planning on going down there. But the Vidara is right next to it, and it's of the Aria, so they're connected to one another. Vidara is basically the Aria, a little smaller without the casino in it.
Which we don't do the gambling part.
Yeah, we don't
that
care
works
about the
great.
gambling
But
at all,
we've done videos on the Entertainment Guy channel.
On our trips to Vegas.
People ask us lots and lots of questions.
And we'll be doing that again the next time we go.
Okay, Tampa Bay, Colorado, and Boston, Montreal can only meet in the conference final.
It was a Stanley Cup final.
Oh, Stanley Cup.
There is no conference final.
Yeah, right. That doesn't even make sense.
There's no conferences this year.
Can you come play Wings for the Leafs?
I don't have that kind of confidence. I don't have the ego for that at all. I would get destroyed.
Here on Dangle's recommendation, how do you find the time to watch every game? This is Shannon's life. Analyze, write up the boards, record, etc. Your ethic blows me away.
It is.
Shannon works more than most people can even imagine. It is all day.
I'm glad for the playoffs because during the regular season on Sundays it would be from 9 a.m. till 10 at night.
It really is all day.
And then Saturdays it was the same thing. So I watch every single game because if I'm going to talk about all the teams,
even
I
when
need to
we
be
go
watching
on
all the
holiday.
teams. Yes.
When we go on holiday, we go to Disneyland, and
I leave Disneyland to go back to the room and watch hockey games. And I watch them on my phone if I can't get them on TV. So I'm watching my phone or watching on a laptop.
We got American SIM cards.
Yeah.
An American plan. So we have that when we're in the States. Not that that's done us any good for the past year and a half, but you know.
Yeah, but it's still there.
Do you think Lafreniere looked good during the second half of the year?
Lafreniere is going to be a star. He's going to be a star in the league. He was fantastic. What did you do?
It keeps jumping.
What did you do?
Do the Penguins trade a core piece, or what do they do now?
From the sounds of it, from Ron Hextall, they're looking to add. So I don't think they're going to sell anybody off. I think they're going to look to add.
Starting soon.
Love
the videos. Ever going to do an expansion draft board?
Once we know all the protected lists and we're a few days out from the expansion draft, I'll do my own version of a team if I was drafting them. And then we'll see how accurate that isn't. Because with Vegas, I'm completely off. I think I got like 3 guys right. So it's fantastic that way. And I enjoy doing that.
Oh, I see somebody says, let me know if you need whiteboards while in Vegas. Actually, if people want to let Shannon borrow whiteboards when we're in Vegas, that's
magnetic
really helpful. Yeah, magnetic whiteboards. It is definitely appreciated. We bring magnets. We don't bring whiteboards. Well, we brought the
Remember when I asked at the Aria and they looked at me like I had just grown 3 heads?
We did. And we asked it Excalibur. I remember going down and asking Excalibur and they were like,
It's like you guys have rooms where you have like meetings and stuff.
Kind of like
have
hockey.
Boards?
Do you kind of like hockey?
I had to. When the channel started out, I had to. And I made up my mind I was going to follow every single team equally. So I don't watch, even though I'm a Canuck fan, I don't watch their games more than anybody else's. I don't watch anybody's game more than anybody else's. I watch every single team exactly the same amount and as fairly as possible. So if the Canucks are in a game and they're winning 8-0, okay, I'll go watch the other game that's closer then, because the 8-0 game isn't going to be interesting from this. Not that much is going to happen. So I pick and choose what I'm watching that way.
Yeah, it should be starting very, very soon. Top three teams.
I've turned the sound down, but yeah.
Top 3 teams in the lottery in need of Wallstead.
Wallstead, Calgary, Chicago, and Calgary, Chicago, and LA might take a look at him. LA might have to trade down, might be able to trade down and pick him up. I like Cal Peterson, but Wallstead has like the ceiling potentially of like Vasilevsky, so he could be that next star goaltender for the Kings.
Will the Devils become the new Oilers and always draft high?
I don't think so, because the Devils, I think, are putting together a decent team. Given another this upcoming season, they should be a lot more competitive, and following that, they may very well be a playoff team.
What team do you hate the most?
I've been over this lately.
To start trouble.
I've been over this lately, and unless a game features a team that I cheer for, I don't really care who wins anymore. And it's just Vancouver, Boston, and Dallas. So this year's playoffs, I've been very neutral, and I just write the notes down, do the videos. I just enjoy the hockey, because the more hockey you watch, the more you cheer for the players and the less you care about what jersey they're wearing. So teams that I used to hate would have been Montreal, Pittsburgh, San Jose, Anaheim, LA. And now I've got teams I cheer for in all of those teams.
Players.
So, players I cheer for in all those teams. And so it makes it harder to really hate on a team when you've got all these players you like on those teams.
Do you think the Blue Jackets could make the best offer for Jack Eichel?
If they're willing to offer multiple first-round draft picks, maybe. And then that might fix the Seth Jones problem, too. If Columbus can talk Seth Jones into potentially talking extension with the Sabres, I don't know how that would work. If I was going to be talked out of testing the free agent market, I'm not sure that a Buffalo trade works for me. But without an extension, Buffalo doesn't make that deal.
The draft should start any moment. People are asking again why you have them in this order.
Because this is the most likely.
Explain it really quickly.
The most likely to be picked first, all the way down to the least likely. So they have a 16.6% chance of getting the number 1 pick. They have 1% chance of getting the number 1 pick. So they'll come out and they'll do a reverse order. And as they announce the reverse order, I will change these. Arizona will not move. They will just sit there next to the sad face.
Would Vegas be a good fit for Eichel?
Vegas would have to give up so much for Eichel. Vegas would have to mortgage so much. I can't see Vegas being in on Eichel. They're too close. It has to be a team that has gone through a lot of disappointment, but thinks that they're not that far off. But for a real contending team, you'd have to give so many pieces up. I don't know that it's worth it.
Can Seattle and Vancouver develop a Flames-Oilers level rivalry?
If Seattle's good right out of the gate, absolutely. Depends on which players Seattle takes, too. If they take a tough team, one that, can go out there, pick the fights every now and then, that kind of thing, that could stir things up. Vancouver's not really that kind of a team for the most part.
Do you really think the Wings are through the worst of it? Not sure I see this core as a future playoff team, and I am a lifelong fan.
Yes, they have Raymond coming in. They have Sider coming in. Berggren's coming in. There's a lot of good players coming in for Detroit. I really think the worst of it's behind them. I think there's a good future for them over the next couple of years.
I'm sorry I missed the last few patron chats and the Zoom chat.
No problem.
The Zoom chat's going to be this weekend. That will be on Sunday. We haven't listed the time, but you haven't missed the Zoom chat.
That's on her, though.
No, shut it. The Zoom chat for patrons on that level is this coming weekend. Anyways,
just post it.
Svech and Stahl need to be net front all game for the rest of the series.
They need to bother Vasilevsky. They need to do to Vasilevsky what Florida did. Florida bothered him. They got in his face. There was a lot of traffic. The games got way too chippy and dirty between Florida and Tampa, but Carolina's got to get to the dirty areas. They've got to be willing to make that sacrifice.
Do the Sabres keep trying to pass Ottawa for the worst owner in the league award?
They may, but Boston's always lingering around in that category as well. Boston's never too far off. So I don't understand the big pregame thing they have for this every time. At least this year, though, they have a time limit because at 4:30 you got a game starting, so they can't really drag this out too far.
Okay.
And they can try.
See. Oh, do you see the Wild doing good next year?
Yes. Yes. Kaprizov makes a huge difference, and Marco Rossi is going to be coming in next year. As long as he's 100% recovered, Marco Rossi should be an excellent center for them.
Do you think Landeskog will re-sign with the Avs?
Yes. Long playoff runs do a wonderful amount of negotiating for a general manager. When a guy feels like he has a chance to win, he'll sign for less money. If the Avs win the Cup this year, I have no doubt Landeskog sticks around.
From your description, does Nashville sound good as a potential spot for Eichel, or do you think they won't be willing to give up enough?
That might be an interesting spot for Eichel. It might be a place where he could really flourish too. And they may have some of the assets. The problem is then you're taking on Eichel's contract. You're going to need to move some money out to take on Eichel's contract. And I don't know Buffalo's going to want to take a big contract back.
Could Edmonton trade for John Gibson from Anaheim or Seth Jones from Columbus?
I don't know that he'll be available. I don't know that John Gibson will be available. Seth Jones, absolutely available. We'll see whether or not he'd be willing to go. Because again, if the team's gonna trade for Seth Jones, they're gonna want to sign him to an extension as well. They don't want to just pick him up for like a month or a year. They're gonna want him long term.
Pixels up there was glaring at him.
Yeah.
Don't even think about coming over here. Okay. Thoughts on Canucks legend Mark Messier?
Well, he does a good Tide commercial.
It is funny.
The Tide commercial, Mr. Messier.
Yeah, that is a funny one.
It's this Mark Messier. It's Messier.
Okay.
Messier.
If the Bolts win again, could we argue a dynasty?
To get to dynasty, you have to win 3 out of 4 years. Modern day dynasties, I know that there's people who want to drop the requirement for 3 and 4 years. But I could see Tampa getting there.
He looks really huge. Are the constant complaints about the Tampa Bay Cap and the playoffs getting old? It seems to be an excuse as to why their team lost. You do see it a lot.
I see it a lot. I ignore it. They've still got a really good team. I don't think that without Kucherov, they would have lost in the first round. I don't think Carolina would have beat them in the first 2 games. Vasilevsky is the one that keeps that going. If anything happened to Vasilevsky, it wouldn't matter how much money they were spending on the rest of the players.
Do the Flyers have a chance at getting Eichel or Jones in the offseason?
Jones probably ahead of Eichel.
Does Arizona make any big trades? Maybe Ekman-Larsson trade?
OEL doesn't want to move. He doesn't want to go anywhere. So unless OEL waives his no movement clause to go somewhere else, he's in Arizona.
Do you think the Penguins window is shut or are they still in it? And if so, how much longer?
I mean, as long as you've got Crosby and Malkin, it's not completely closed, but at this stage, it's getting pretty darn close. They need a really good goaltender in order to open it up again.
Is the worst over for the Devils?
I think so. Jack Hughes is showing superstar signs over the last season. So, yeah, I think it is.
Thoughts on the Islanders' future and their playoff run this year?
You just can't count the Islanders out. The Islanders are a playoff team. They roll 4 lines, 6 defensemen. They have 2 goalies.
Had to change the settings to watch this because of the V jersey or wear sunglasses. You can see him. At least he's wearing the black one. See, but you can see him from a long ways away.
That's true. I get it.
Okay, it skipped again.
How you doing, Shadow?
They're on it. They're explaining how the draft works now. All the Eichel rumors make me sad.
Yeah, and I still don't know that he goes anywhere. He hasn't straight out said he wants to leave, and the Buffalo Sabres haven't said that they want to trade him. So there's the possibility he stays in Buffalo for another year.
He's not a chunky kitty, actually. Shadow's not chunky. That's just how Shannon was holding him.
Yeah, he's not a chunky
We do
cat.
have some chunky kitties, and he's
Pixel
not
and Lily Beller.
Yeah.
you see what I did to Pixel this morning? I just rolled her.
No.
I rolled her on her back, so her paws are up, and she's kind of looking at me funny, and I was rubbing her belly, and she's like, I don't know that I like this, but she couldn't roll herself back over.
She's not really going to fight you.
So I just grabbed her and rolled her back, and she's sitting there with all her paws, and you're like, what's happening?
Why are you doing this? Big fan from UK. Will the Flyers bounce back?
Yes, because they do every other year they bounce back. It doesn't make any sense. There's no rhyme or reason. Every other year they're bad. Every other year they're good.
No, Shadow, leave her alone. I saw that.
No.
Leave her alone.
She's fine.
But I want to lay there. Look at her.
He doesn't want to lay there. He just wants her
not to lay there. I think the Leafs regret pushing Lou out the door. He's definitely a big brother. For Lou, I don't know. I think if Lou had stuck around, I don't think the Leafs would have won either. They might have gone in a bit of a different direction. I really think for the Leafs, no matter who's running this team, they have a lot of money invested in the top 4 guys. And that's an issue for them. It makes it harder to have a really solid team from top to bottom. Is there anyone Columbus could try to fill the 1C position, or should they just blow it up and full rebuild?
1Cs are very, very rarely available. I mean, look at the Dubois deal and how much it took for that to go through. And he's not even really a number 1 center. He's more of a number 2. Number 1 centers are hard to find. If Eichel's available, Columbus will be in on him for that reason. But yeah, you kind of have to develop one from within or try to have 3 scoring lines.
Which team could most use a bump from the lottery, and which teams hurt most from falling in the lottery?
Which team could most use a bump? Calgary's kind of taken it on the chin this year. And for Vancouver, they've never had good luck in the lottery at all. There's been nothing, just bad luck for them in the lottery. And I think just for the fans, it might shut them up for a while if we get the number 1 pick. And by a while, I mean like 8.5 minutes of relatively happy fans before they start complaining again. 8.5 minutes is an eternity, though, for Canucks.
True. Thoughts on the Lightning kicking opposing fans out for wearing jerseys? Didn't they just tell them to take off the jerseys? They didn't actually kick them out, right?
Yeah, they threatened to kick them out, but they've also decided not to enforce that policy anymore.
It's kind of a jerky
that
thing
policy
to do,
has been talked about with other teams over the years, with not allowing fans from opposing teams to even have tickets, not let them in the building. This has been a problem in the NHL for a while.
Like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
And it's ridiculous. If somebody's willing to pay the money to go to a game, they're willing to pay the money to go to the game. And that's it. It really shouldn't matter which team they're cheering for.
One for TEG. You should watch the new Walker show.
Oh, here comes all the cards.
And the 8th pick for the 2021 draft goes to the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, there's all the cards. It'd be great if you had them upside down, though, wouldn't it?
Worst trade this season?
Worst trade this season. The Dubois one hasn't been great because it hasn't favored either team. All right, who's number 15?
Great Britain hockey fan here was wondering if you've caught much of Liam Kirk at the World Championships, and do the Coyotes finally sign him?
I haven't followed enough of the World Championships. Number 15 selection goes to New York Rangers. Rangers do not move. All right, there's no panic this year. Rangers do not move. Their ball must not have dropped or something. I guess their balls didn't drop, whatever it was. Remember last year their balls dropped, and that's why they ended up getting
oh my gosh, I remember the fumble and the gloves are
number
people
14
were having meltdowns.
Number 14 belongs to Dallas. Dallas didn't win it either.
Okay.
Jim Nils should just flip his
turn
desk.
The volume down a bit. Because if I'm not
down low.
I know, but if I'm not talking, you can hear it pretty well, I would think. Okay, convince me, a Kings fan, that I should want to trade the farm for Eichel. If you agree, we should. That is great stream, you guys.
No, I would not. I would not. If I was the Kings, I would not be selling everything because it's going to take like Byfield, the first round pick, this kind of thing. I don't think it would be worth it for the Kings. They're on the verge of turning the corner. So Philly stays in the same spot.
Okay, if Tampa wins, can you do a video on players like Pat Maroon that make up their own dynasty by winning with 2 or more teams in 3 to 4 year period?
Yeah, I can. I mean, if Maroon wins another cup, That would be remarkable.
That would.
That'd be 3 years in a row. He's a dynasty. He'd be the one-man dynasty.
There you go.
Pat Dynasty Maroon. There's the whole Fat Pat thing disappears.
There you go. Could the Senators be a playoff contender if the 2021 season is a standard 82 games? Kachuk deserves the C.
Yes. Yes, the Sens are going to be in the mix next year. They're going to be very good. So number 11 is Chicago.
Will Jeff Solomon stop Bob Murray from ruining Anaheim's rebuild?
I don't know that Murray's gonna ruin the rebuild. I think Anaheim's rebuild's going all right. It might be going a little bit slower than some might want, but I think it's gone all right. All right, so Ottawa's number 10. Vancouver, did we win the lottery?
Where would you rate Mackenzie Blackwood as a starter? I know.
No, we're still number 9. Mackenzie Blackwood's a top 10 starter in the league. So the Canucks do not win the draft lottery. They're number 9.
If the Lightning and the Avalanche reach the final, which team do you see winning the series and in how many games? Do you think the Lightning will succeed in slowing them down like they did with Florida, Carolina?
For the Stanley Cup, is that what that was about?
Yeah, if they got to the final, there you go. Or no, that's not even it. If they would win and in how many games?
Tampa Bay, Colorado, I would think goes to 7. I could see Tampa winning it just with how smart they are. Okay, so is that number 8?
Yeah, they said Kings.
Oh, okay.
I heard him say Kings.
All right. I just missed that.
Yeah,
8 and 7.
8 is Kings, 7 is
So
San
nothing's
Jose.
changed. We're up to number 6. Nothing's changed yet.
If Chicago stays around that 10-11 pick, who do you think they hope to pick up this draft?
Jesper Wallstedt, goaltender. Jesper Wallstedt, I think, should go to Chicago.
Okay.
And Detroit's number 6, so they don't move up. This is going to be really anticlimactic.
This is kind of boring so far, isn't it?
Which is what the NHL probably wanted after last year's mess.
Oh, that was ridiculous, wasn't it? Okay, keep up the great work. Watch you almost daily. I've been an Avs fan my entire life. Do you think Reeves got enough games for the stunt he pulled?
I was surprised it wasn't more. I mean, one playoff game is like 2 regular season games. That'd be like a 4 game suspension in the regular season. But man, that doesn't feel like it's enough. All right, New Jersey stays at 4. So there hasn't been a change yet, and we're up to the top 3.
There's a lot of I'm seeing a lot of boo.
All right, does Seattle move up?
Oh, that would be ridiculous.
Because we're down to these 3.
Oh, yeah, this is kind of weird, isn't it? It's not. Yeah, this is weird not having
Buffalo, Anaheim, or Seattle. One of them's getting the number 1 pick.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, they're going to commercial.
Oh, commercial break.
Commercial.
Yeah, there's a lot. People aren't really thrilled with this. Oh, somebody's confused. What's confused? This is suspicious. It's really not. I mean, this is
how it's supposed to work.
So this is following the odds. This is exactly going how the odds percentages.
Whoever won
work.
the first 2, or Arizona won, and they had to do a redo.
Right.
They wouldn't tell us. But
I would hope not.
They'll tell us after. They'll tell us after. Arizona would have won the number 1 pick. But nope, they don't have a first rounder this year.
But no.
Thanks, John Chayka.
It seems odd because usually we do see the teams that have dropped, but really this is the most likely scenario. So
I think it's because you're doing 2 picks instead of 3,
seems.
And they've tried to weight it differently this year.
Yeah. Why does Jim Benning look like he's managing the Undertaker?
Yeah, I don't know who told him to do his hair that way, but man, that's
come on, stop. Vancouver didn't move down. That's a win.
Right, yeah. They stay at 9. Everybody stays in the same spot. All right, everybody, just stay where you are. That's basically all that happened. So now we get to decide who we'd like to see win the number 1 pick between Buffalo, Anaheim, and Seattle. So Seattle gets at least number 3. So they're going to get a pretty good pick this year.
Yeah, they could have a really good team.
Well, I mean, they're going to have a half decent team. And depending on what other GMs do, because other GMs may very well hand them off pieces that sort of like what Columbus did. Here, I'll just turn that a little bit like that. There we go.
Who's the most clutch player of the last few seasons, in your opinion? The one whom you think scores the most important goals at the right moment?
Out of Tampa right now, I would say Alex Killorn. Killorn's really, really good at scoring clutch goals. For Vegas, that whole Carlson, Marchessault, Riley Smith line scares the heck out of me. When you need a clutch goal, you're going to get it from one of them. And of course, with Colorado, Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, both of them are very good at getting those clutch goals.
So Shannon did a video yesterday explaining the draft. I see a lot of questions. Yeah. Yes, I see a lot of questions of how this works, why teams aren't on there, what number are teams that are not on here. Yeah, these are the only teams. We won't take a ton of time to answer those.
These are the only teams that are eligible for the draft lottery.
It's the teams that aren't in the playoffs.
And this is in the order of who was most likely to get that number one pick. So
who's the loser
based on reverse standings. So Buffalo had the worst season by any stretch.
Losers.
And Rangers had the best season of any team on this board.
The least losery.
Though they still fired everybody. But for the Rangers, they only had a 1% chance of winning the lottery. Dallas only had a 1.9% chance of winning the lottery.
Should the Canucks tank next year for Wright?
No.
There you go.
No.
Which team falls something? I don't know where it went.
Something?
Yep, that's all I saw, and then it jumped.
Here comes number 3.
Falls apart first. Penguins or Caps?
Caps. Caps are older. Number 3 is the Ducks.
Whoa.
Okay.
There you go.
So the Ducks drop by 1. Seattle moves up.
Has Montreal's series win against the Leafs brought Bergevin more years at the helm?
Oh, yes. Absolutely, yes. Makes him, and it buys Ducharme time as the coach, too. All right, who's number 1?
How do San Jose get a fresh start in net? Who would want Jones?
All right. Buffalo gets number 1. Buffalo won the draft lottery.
There you go.
So Seattle moves up one spot.
It is.
Buffalo stays right where they were. So Seattle and Arizona trade spots.
Okay, I think
As for goaltending, though, look for a lot of goaltenders to get moved in the offseason. We're going to see a lot of goaltenders get moved because Seattle's going to pick up probably 4 of them, 2 of whom they plan to use, and then the other 2 they may use as trade bait. So
yeah. I can tell by the chat that people are really excited about this, and they're really happy for Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean the Sabres get Owen Power, and Seattle drafting second.
They're really, these people are really excited for Buffalo. Wow.
I'm excited for Buffalo. Yeah. It's about time they got to win because Vancouver's not going to get one.
Good for them. That's
all
great.
Fine. It's all good. Is everybody happy about Buffalo?
I can tell. See, look at the chat. It's going really fast about how people
Kevin Adams is excited. He's got a big grin on his face. He gets Owen Power.
Excited. Okay, video idea. The importance of having a depth on Stanley Cup winner, aka no team has won cup with a player making $10 million plus. Price is the first player to make it past the first round.
Depth's really, really key, and having that money spread around properly.
It's kind of a fun
The Boston Bruins are kind of an example of, guys take less money to stay in Boston so the team can stay a contender. And I mean, players don't have to do that, but when they do, it makes a difference.
Rest in peace, Owen Power's career.
There'd be a lot of that. But again, Buffalo has to eventually turn it around. They have to.
Hey, THG, I've been dying to ask you a potential trade question. If you were a GM, would you take Raquel for Forsberg?
If I'm Nashville and that's the offer, I would say no. Forsberg is a better player than Raquel. I love Raquel, though. I think with the right environment, I think he could get back to being a 30-goal scorer. You have to stay healthy too, though.
Is the draft lottery only relevant for the first round?
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't change anybody else's draft position. So Anaheim will have the second pick in the second round and beyond. Seattle will have the third pick in the second round and beyond. So Yeah, so Buffalo won the first draw and Seattle won the second draw.
So I see several questions about how did more teams not move, and it's all odds.
So I mean, if the Rangers had won the lottery, it would have bumped down everybody who also didn't win the lottery. And the Canucks could have technically fallen to 11th if, say, Dallas and Philly or New York and Calgary had won the lottery. But this year, unlike last year, we didn't see that big movement. So we shouldn't hear the complaining from Brian Burke that we heard last year and the year before. And in general, people should be okay with this, although there may be some that are upset Seattle drafts second, but
there's always going to be people that
it's
are
not
upset
unusual for an
everything.
expansion team to get a really high draft pick. That's supposed to be how it works their first year. So usually.
If the Red Wings add a number 6 pick to the young players that they already have, are they getting closer?
Yes. And the Wings aren't that far off anyways. Like right now, Steve Yzerman's likely not nearly as mad about this year's result as he was about last year's, because you can see the improvement coming along for them.
Go Jets, go. Hi, Shannon and Yvonne. I know, I'm excited.
She is excited.
I'm kind of excited. That should be fun. I was really wanting them to play the Leafs, though. I did want the Leafs to win just because I wanted the Jets to play the Leafs. that was my only reason for cheering for the Leafs. But it should be a really fun series, I think. Okay. Do you think the draft was better when it was all determined by league standings and not a lottery? What was good with the old system versus what we have now?
I appreciate the lottery taking out the tanking for first overall. I appreciate too that it does add this level of uncertainty and intrigue to the whole thing. And I think it's an entertaining way to do things. And clearly it worked today. We didn't see anybody jumping up. We didn't see anybody getting completely hosed from first to fourth. So it worked better today for what it's supposed to do than I think it has in recent years. So maybe this new system will be better.
Yeah. And again, I still see this question. It's all odds. So it's not like they all had an equal chance of being number one. That's not how it works.
Like the Canucks only had a 5% chance of winning the number one pick. So there was very, very little chance they were going to pick first overall.
Right. And so the order they were in was the most likely scenario.
Yep.
Based on percentages and how they do it. That was the most likely scenario. So that's why it only changed a little bit.
Yep. And I think that's, again, I think that sticks with what they wanted it to do in the first place.
Yeah, the game is starting really soon.
Yes.
I like the new system.
I do too. I think this will work. I think this is better than the system they had before.
I'm hoping the Jets win, and I was hoping the Maple Leafs were playing the Jets. I know, wouldn't that have been a fun series?
That would have been a very fun series.
But this should be fun too.
Yes, it should.
Yeah,
it should. And Montreal and Winnipeg know each other pretty well from this year.
I know. So I think it'll be
we'll
really interesting the next round, because then we'll have teams playing teams that they haven't played at all this year.
Right.
So can maybe not have a gajillion overtimes.
All right.
I think.
So if we're caught up on these.
So not caught up. It just
power depressed on. Here, let me see. I mean, Buffalo's going to draft them.
Let's see. Oh, what are you doing?
VA's NHL game came to PC. Would I buy the game and stream it? I'd probably. Who's closer to being a contender, Devils or Red Wings? Devils. I'll say Devils. Yeah, and the Canucks were never going to win it. They weren't going to win it. But anyways, guys, was the player pool Vegas chose from way stronger? No, teams just made deals so that they could protect players. And now the question is whether or not they're going to make those deals again next time out.
You know, teams are still going to make.
There's going to be deals made.
They will have
there's
players
deals
that they want to keep.
And there's going to be deals that they regret. Am I curious if Arizona got picked? A little bit, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. All right, guys. I'm going to go watch the game. Everybody enjoy yourselves. Yeah. This was fun. And we'll do it again soon.
Seems silly comment.